So cool. Alright, what we got? What we got? Ooh, that looks tasty. Just put everything aside. Oh, it's a ScrawlrBox. That's so cute. Okay, here we go. A Zahn custom flat synthetic universal brush, size 10. It's so cool. It's like a hair mixture, apparently. So soft. It says it's good for oils and watercolor. It's a Derwent sketching pencil. Oh, what are you? Oh, this card is it's a palette knife card. Oh, that's so cool. Oh, that's cool. So you can do like fun shapes with it. Oh, it's tiny and it's perfect. This is the Prime Sketch Canvas panel. Ooh. Oh, these look nice. We got primary magenta, titanium white, and ultramarine. That's it. They're water mixable oil paint, high degree of pigmentation. You just need soapy water to clean it from your brushes or hands. Ooh, that looks cute. Featured artist is katiejobling. Ooh, got some tips. Oh, this must be the palette paper. 45 GSM. It's very thin. It says it's impervious to oil and acrylic. Alright. So at least they've provided a little palette of sorts. Alright. Can't wait to get started. The theme is abstract floral. Okay. So I got started on swatching out everything, you know, it's just the pencil, 3 colors. It's pretty basic tools of the trade. I can't really swatch out the brush, but I did cut up the palette knife card. I wasn't really sure what shapes to go for, so I kind of just follow along the lines and set it aside. And I put the palette paper in the box just in case, because I know it said it was impervious to water and oils. I still wanted to, you know, better to be safe than sorry. So I just put that aside in the box while he was swatching out the colors, and I kind of just see how translucent I could go with them, and then like the colors I could get with them, you know. And I try not to use too much water. I know it said just enough to loosen it, so I try to make sure I wasn't drowning it, and just seeing how the paper reacted to it. Definitely a reason why they gave this a canvas, because like later I come back to it and the oil has like spread throughout the page. But yeah, since we only got one canvas, I grabbed an old sketchbook ScrawlrBox previously gave me and just kind of filled in some pages. Just some pretty simple swatching, and then, you know, I started brainstorming about abstract, floral, and then working with oils, because I work with mostly markers and watercolor, a lot less messier options and more travel-friendly options. Because this definitely took a lot of water. Like, I only grabbed a little bit of water, and that was a mistake because it quickly became very filthy. And yeah, so anyways, it took me like a couple of days to figure this out, because like with oils, you have to wait a couple days for it to finish drying, and like if you have a hair blow dryer, you know, usually that helps, but you never know how a supply is gonna react to something like heat. But eventually I came up with an idea, like a kind of demon Lilith kind of girl just in a field. Well, more like just laying down and surrounded by hydrangeas, and then the whole abstract part of it would come into that I only have one giant brush in this tiny little canvas. I mean, it's not the biggest, it's a 10 flat brush, but still, it's not greatest thing for detail, but you know, restrictions, creativity. So given the limited palette, because only you get like 2 primaries and a white, usually if you have like all 3 primaries then and a white, you can really get a lot going on in a piece. But I was just like, But I definitely did love that at least they included the white, and at least 2 primaries, you know. It is a subscription box, so. But it took forever to do the hair, and forever, it took so much paint. I did like a little glob, because I was like, oh, that'll be enough for this tiny little canvas. It was not. It was a mistake. But I can definitely say after using these and through my perils of ups and downs of trying to work with a medium I've never worked with, and also a medium that is demanding in and of itself, it was interesting. These oils I would definitely recommend to someone who's starting out in oils, just because like it says you just add water, which is really true, and it loosens them up, and you don't have to worry about finding the right oil for you, especially with people with pets. Like I have my cat, and you never know how the pheromones, well, the perfumes are gonna mess with them from the oils, like, because I know lavender oil is a really popular one to use with oils, and you never know how like pets are gonna react, and you should always like work in an open space because of all those fumes and everything. And if you have like limited space and limited resources, then this is definitely a good starter oil. For me, I don't know if I'll ever work with these again. Until I get maybe like a bigger studio, so then I have room for all these waters, because my little tiny baby jar definitely needed to get empty a couple times. I definitely need to get a bigger jar if I'm going to work with these again, and definitely use a bigger canvas if I'm not going to use like tiny brushes, just because a bigger canvas means it's easier to blend and easier to work with, because this tiny little canvas was a little hard to work with with this pretty big brush. So details were kind of hard. Like when I put her face on later on, like, oh my god, you're gonna see me paint the ears and they're just gonna be like unsymmetrical, and they're just gonna be uneven, and it drives me crazy, and I'm just like, just put flowers over it, it'll make everything better. And it sort of did. But it was definitely hard, because it's like, you want to consider the fact that they said to start with darkers first, because it's hard to get dark colors in once, you know, you get all these whites in there, because, you know, everything blends. But it was definitely hard to consider that when I had a big brush. So I'm not sure if, you know, the featured artist, because I mean it definitely has the same colors going on in it. I don't know if the featured artist though was working with the same limited things, because I know I try, just me, you know, personally, I try to use only what's in the wax. Very much so. Like I didn't even erase anything because it didn't come in the eraser, and I was just like determined. But I know I had definitely trouble like mixing paint. Like it just like brought me back to my acrylic days in high school and the struggles of mixing paint. Because I mean, if you use the little thing or the brush, either way, paint ends up all over it, and then like I would have one brush for mixing and then one brush that I actually was painting with, but I couldn't do that here, so it was like even more like and I just didn't like just how much ended up on the thing, and it's so messy, and like it was just driving me crazy personally. Maybe if I had like a bigger studio and like a little bit more room on my desk, then maybe this would have been a little less stressful. It's just I wasn't really prepared for oils, so. but still fun. Still like a great product. I just don't know if it's for me right now. Just saying. But I did really enjoy it, despite all the frustrations of trying to make something work. It kind of makes you appreciate and like solidify your love for other things. Like my love for watercolor just like deepened with this piece. But I definitely got to, experience firsthand how well oils blend. Like I know a lot of people recommend them because they blend so well. And that was definitely true. Like sometimes I would just dab a little water on the brush and it helped blend it like 1,000 more times. And it was interesting, to say the least, just because I've never experienced them before. And I just kind of go back and forth between the hair. Like I put her skin down and then I'm like back to trying to add detail to this, because it was kind of just hard to try to get those like individual strands looking kind of thing going on with the brush and then like blend them in kind of. I probably just suck. But definitely would have preferred a round brush personally, just because those are my favorite. But yeah, I mostly use flat brushes for backgrounds or when I'm trying to cover a really big area. This was not one of those incidents. But then I use like one of the little spiky, smaller like pieces that I cut up from the card and try to get some finer details into her face, like her mouth and the tears and her like collarbone and neckline. Try to get those in before, the final step where I put in all the flowers. And that was kind of interesting because it's like I have to make sure I put enough. I really should have put down more paint on the palette just because I kept doing it anyways. I was like, oh, just a glob. That's all I need. No, it's not. It's all lies. You need like the most oils, and because you'll be like, oh, I only need this much for this area. Lies, all lies. You need the most paint for the littlest of things. Just because, like I said, it sticks to the brush, it sticks to the palette, it sticks to the little knife card, it sticks to everything. And I slowly realized that as I noticed that everything I had touched throughout the time of working on this was covered in paint, from my headphones to my phone to the brush and the pencil and the bottles. Like when they say this doesn't dry for a couple days, they mean it when they say it doesn't dry for a couple days. I learned that the hard way. That's why I keep saying it, just because it made a mess and I was just like, I miss you, watercolors. But the flowers were definitely hard because I tried doing it with the knife card, like just globbing paint on, and that wasn't really working for me. And so then I used the tip of the brush, and that kind of worked for me, in that I was like, okay, I'm kind of getting those individual little petals kind of thing going on, and I just tried to do it all over, because you never know if you're gonna like it or not until you do it. So I pretty much tried to put it all over, because I was like, Captain going down with the ship. You don't know unless you try, and you never know what a piece is going to look like until the very end, especially when you have no idea what you're doing. But it kind of worked for me. It kind of didn't work for me, and I end up after doing this for like a good bushel of them, I try to get the brush as dry as I can and speckle like I don't know. I just try to kind of make them look hydrangea more. I know it's supposed to be abstract flowers, like, but I was like, okay, they have to kind of look like flowers to me, remotely like flowers. But like I definitely tried like to get it all over and be like, maybe if I do it to more of the piece, I'll love it more. And slowly realize, no, I hate it. And yeah, see, now you can see where I try to get the brush and keep it dry as possible and kind of like smush it. I was like, I don't mind killing you. Basically, it's like I can always get another cheap brush. Well, No, it's custom, but it is just a synthetic brush, and synthetic, it's a lot cheaper than natural. So I was like, you know what? Just captain going down with the ship. Just gonna gun it. Just gonna go with it. And I like this a bit more. The effect it had. And yeah. Then I designed it, and that was that. But I always like it when I get a medium I've never worked with, or it's a medium that I hardly work with, and it kind of becomes like center stage. Because like I said, either you find out that you're interested in this new medium, or you're like, nope, I love my good old faithful supplies. But that's always the fun part of ScrawlrBox. You don't know what you're gonna get, and it's always fun to try to make it work. But I hope you guys liked the video. Comment, subscribe, whatever you feel like, and I'll see you again next month. Bye!